cigarettes, huh? I'm 32 years old. Good boy. Had a party smoking, and I'm like, great. Zero cravings.
Let me bring this to
Right.
like I said, No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Stand up and sing. Yeah.
This is who we are, and we feel the love whenever we're together. This is why we're here, to serve the world and one another. We're being called to find a higher way, and to remember why we're here today, to love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. This is where we grow and find the truth that always sets us free. And this is where we play and enjoy like-minded company. A place where we can share our joy and pain. A place where everybody knows your name. As we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. And in remembering to love and serve, we're transforming lives and transform the world. When we love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember who we are. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember. Love, serve, and remember who we are. And remember who we are. And remember who we are.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, welcome to Unity Renaissance on another beautiful Sunday morning here in the summertime. Feels good to be together, doesn't it? Welcome to all of you who are watching online today. We wish you were right here with us, but this is the next best thing. Always feels so good just to come together. I don't know about you, but for me, Sunday's like my spiritual booster shot for the week. You feel that way too? I hope you feel that way at home as well. You know, we encounter so much divisiveness and stress and anxiety during the week, and man, when we come back here, it's like coming back to the mothership, right? That is the truth that we're one, the truth of unity. It always feels good to expand back into that knowing. So welcome to all of you. Well, unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We follow the teachings and the example of our way shower, Jesus, as well as other spiritual masters, in seeking to more fully love ourselves, love God, and love one another. And from that beautiful consciousness of love here in unity, We honor all paths to God, all names for God, and all expressions of God. And should you ever forget, I am here to remind you that each and every one of you is an expression of God, and each and every one of you watching at home. You know, when we really understand that about ourselves, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we connect with our own innate divinity, that beautiful light within us, and we behold it in one another, that light just grows and grows, and it shines out ever more brightly to light up the world. Our vision at Unity Renaissance is, together, a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And we are manifesting that vision through our mission, which is, together, we transform lives that transform the world. Man, I love the way you guys say that. You know it's true, don't you? Let's begin our time of transformation in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with the beautiful energy of spirit. Releasing and letting go into oneness, into the perfection of this now moment. Sweet Spirit, we're just so filled with gratitude as we come together this morning. Our energy is quickened, our minds are quickened by this opportunity to show up in love, to receive whatever insights we most need to receive, to give the blessings that are ours to give. And so we give thanks for this time together, for this beautiful spiritual community, for the light of the Christ shining in each and every soul. For this we are truly grateful. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Well, we have a guest speaker today, a very special guest speaker today, someone you may be familiar with.
I ruined the surprise.
Reverend Richard Mekdeci speaking to us today for the first time as an ordained Unity minister. So we are grateful and right, also leading the music team today. So we'll let you take it from here.
All right, here we go.
And by the way, his title, if you have forgotten, is the Reverend Maestro Richard Mekdeci, Minister of Music. Let's all stand and sing again.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
All right, you beautiful souls. Now is our chance to welcome one another. I invite you to join me in our divinity salute as we turn to greet our neighbors with a bow, a handshake, or a hug. Together, the divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good job, everybody.
Oh, wow, what great energy. Good morning, everyone. I am Lisa Smith, and I am so thrilled to be here today as your platform host. And I will be sharing our daily word with you today. Our word for today is authenticity. And I invite you to recite our affirmation from today, which is up here on the screen behind me. I am free to be my true self. Yes. Yes. Today I may be called to fill many roles: parent, child, spouse, partner, friend, neighbor, coworker, consumer, citizen. As I contemplate the unwavering power of infinite love, I understand that my true self, my authentic self, is divine. I am guided to speak and act for the highest good of all concerned. I can express myself with courage and compassion. In strife, my words and actions bring forth peace, reconciliation, and wholeness. In accord, my contribution is a magnet for joy, beauty, and abundance. Trusting my authentic self, I allow the glory of the infinite to transform ordinary circumstances into magnificent possibilities. Our scripture that goes along with this morning is from 2 Corinthians 3:18. And all of us, with unveiled faces, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed. We have prayer chaplains who will be available right after the service in the chapel right across from the narthex, and they are there to pray with you for whatever it is that you want to share or be heard by or gain support with. And so if our prayer chaplains will please stand so you can be recognized by your beautiful prayer stoles. Thank you very much. And so again, we invite you to join them after the service. And I would like to invite everybody to stand now and share with us in the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever.
for all the kingdom, power,
Last night I dreamed my mama woke me up, and she took me by the hand. She led me down the path into the woods to where the little chapel stands. And everyone we knew was there. They all seemed so happy we came by. The deacon shook our hands, and then he led us to our seat beside the aisle. The preacher started preaching, and everybody leaned in close. He said, there is a light in the dark when you need it the most. And there is a way through this world if we keep this in mind. No one gets to heaven if anybody else is left behind. No one gets to heaven if anyone is lost along the way. And it's so easy to doubt it, so now let us join hands and pray. We'll meet on that beautiful shore in that sweet by and by. 'Cause no one gets to heaven if anybody else is left behind. We sang Rock of Ages like we've been to that place. We sang Peace in the Valley. Lord, we sang I'll Fly Away. When we lifted our voices, we sounded like angels on high. No one gets to heaven if anybody else is left behind. Oh, no one gets to heaven if anyone is lost along the way. And it's so easy to doubt it, so now let us join hands and pray. On that beautiful shore in that sweet by and by. 'Cause no one gets to heaven if anybody else is left behind. We'll meet on that beautiful shore in that sweet by and by. 'Cause no one gets to heaven if anybody else is left behind. No one gets to heaven if anybody else is left.
Boy Black, ladies and gentlemen. that song. First time I heard that song, I knew I had to record it, and I did. Recorded that.
And thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. In 1963, a mathematician and meteorologist, Joe, you may know this guy, named Edward Lorenz, he presented his doctoral thesis at the New York Academy of Arts and Sciences. Now, his theory was that if you make tiny little changes in the present moment, that eventually over time it's going to produce huge changes in long-term outcomes. He made this discovery while he was trying to predict the weather. And they accidentally started off with what seemed to be just an insignificant difference in the first number. But then when the prediction went out 5 or 6 days, it totally changed what the prediction for the weather was. And he said that if his theory were correct, a single flap of a seagull's wings could alter the course of weather forever. Does that sound familiar? Yes. It's what eventually became known as the butterfly effect. In fact, about 10 years later, he was giving the same talk for another group of scientists, and they asked him for a title. And he didn't have a title. And one of his colleagues came up with this title kind of on the spot. Does the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas? And that more poetic iteration, of the theory became kind of stuck and became known as the butterfly effect. Now, Lorenz was kind of laughed off the stage for his silly little theory, but it was interesting enough to where it kind of took hold, as you know, and it started seeping into our pop culture and showing up in science fiction movies and comic books and urban legends. But a few years later, in the early to mid-90s, Edward Lorenz was vindicated when scientists discovered the Higgs boson. That's a fancy name for the God particle. Do y'all remember when the God particle came out? They had discovered the most elemental particle field there ever was. In layman's terms, it's what atoms and electrons and neutrons are made out of. And this discovery confirmed for them that at the most basic level, we're all made out of the same stuff. We're all made out of the same stuff, and we're connected on this energetic level, not just to one another, but to all life on the planet. And this confirmed the fact then, because of that, whatever we do, anything we do, somehow is going to affect the whole, because we're all connected on an energetic level. So the scientists started thinking, maybe there's something to this little butterfly effect. And lo and behold, just like the law of gravity, the law of aerodynamics, it became an official law. It's called the law of sensitive dependence upon initial conditions, the butterfly effect. So butterfly effect is like the generic term. Law of sensitive dependence upon initial conditions is the pharmaceutical term, if you will. And this law goes into effect whenever any form of matter is moved. Think about that, any form of matter. So yeah, butterfly flapping its wings. When we blink, you've heard of butterfly kisses? When we blink, anytime the air moves the trees, anytime. So this is always constantly in effect, just like gravity or aerodynamics, the law of sensitive dependence upon initial conditions is always in effect, always connecting us in ways too complex to comprehend. For instance, how many of you all have heard of a man named Norman Borlaug? Not that many, I presume. But Norman Borlaug won a Nobel Peace Prize back in 1970. He was in his 90s at the time, but he was given the Nobel Prize for work he had done in the 40s and 50s. Norman Borlaug discovered how to hybridize high-yield and disease-resistant wheat and corn for arid climates. And this made it possible to grow wheat and corn where it had never been possible to grow before. And at that time, it was an amazing discovery. And the scientists calculated that that one discovery alone had been responsible for saving over 2 billion lives from famine, being able to grow wheat and corn where it had never been able to grow before. And that was in the 70s. If we extrapolate that now, I'm sure it'd be way over 5 billion lives, we could safely say. Agreed? 5 billion lives and counting for Norman Borlaug's discovery. Definitely worth a Nobel Prize. But some argued, say, hey, really, Henry Wallace should have gotten that Nobel Peace Prize. You see, Henry Wallace, he was the Secretary of Agriculture, and he served one term as vice president under Franklin Roosevelt. And it was Henry Wallace that used his influence as vice president to fund a lab in Mexico for the sole purpose of hybridizing high-yield diseases in wheat and corn for arid climates. And he hired Norman Borlaug, who made that discovery. So some argued it should have been Henry Wallace, credited with saving that 5 billion lives and counting. And counting, way to go. And then someone said, well, okay, if you're going to credit Henry Wallace, then why not George Washington Carver? That's right, the peanut guy. Now, he was such a brilliant student that at age 19, he was just a sophomore in college. His botany professor brings his little son Henry to him. And he says, I would like for Henry to follow you around on some of your botanical expeditions and learn from you. Of course, what could George say? It was his botany professor. So it was from a young George Washington Carver that a young Henry Wallace received his love for plants and the good they could do in the world. So eventually, when he became vice president, he used his power to fund that lab in Mexico where Norman Borlaug made his discovery. So beside the 266 things he discovered to do with the peanut, we could also add to George Washington Carver's resume, responsible for saving over 5 billion lives. Thank you for my cheerleader back there. Yay. But wait, there's more. See, we can peel back another layer and say perhaps that Nobel Peace Prize or that credit for those lives could go to a young farmer in Diamond, Missouri, who right after the Civil War risked his life to save the baby of one of his former slaves from a band of racist marauders who had come in, ransacked his farm, killed everyone but him and his wife, and kidnapped the baby. Now, he rode right into the den of those thieves. He traded his horse for the baby, and he walked back 2 days in the freezing cold to deliver that child. See where I'm going with this? Yeah. Know who that child was? George Washington Carver, who only 19 years later would inspire a young Henry Wallace to use his power as vice president to fund a lab in Mexico, where he hired Norman Borlaug, who made the discovery that is now saving over 5 billion lives. And yeah. So if we apply this butterfly effect to our own lives, we can begin to see where any one of us in this room could be a link in a chain of events just like that one, without even knowing it, right? Moses didn't know that saving that baby was going to result in 5 billion lives being saved 150 years later. How could he? He was just doing what his wife asked him to. She begged him to save that baby. But you know, in a universe that's so connected and so interdependent as this one is, we have to consider the fact that anything we do, all of our actions, all of our conversations, anything we do could have that kind of ripple effect out into the world and beyond time, just like the humble butterfly. For instance, has anyone ever come up to you, this has happened to me a couple times, and just started telling you how something you said to them months or maybe even years ago had this profound effect on their lives and changed them forever, and you're just going, who is this person? Thank you, yes. I know, what is your name again? And they're just going on and on. We were talking about balancing the pH in my soil, and you told me how to balance the pH in my garden, and my garden just blossomed. I became hooked on gardening. I started growing vegetables for my neighborhood, and then I started giving my vegetables to my church, and now my church donates my vegetables to a homeless shelter who feeds 100 homeless people a week with my vegetables. Thank you so much. You're like, wow. A little conversation I had about pH balance 2 years ago is now feeding homeless people today. And we don't know how many times that's happened. You don't know how many times you've had a conversation with a young child or with a grown-up that has had that kind of effect. But we need to be aware that anything we do could have that kind of effect. It's an awesome responsibility. So, how many of you are not familiar with the holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life? Okay, so everybody knows. The great movie starring James Stewart. His character, George Bailey, had the amazing blessing of being shown how his life mattered. You remember? His angel Clarence showed him what Bedford Falls would be like if he had not been born. This movie demonstrated the butterfly effect 30 years before Edward Lorenz ever presented it to the New York Academy of Science. So here's a clip, the famous cemetery scene, just to remind you.
Are you sure this is Bailey Park?
No, I'm not sure of anything anymore. All I know is this should be Bailey Park. But where are the houses?
We weren't here to build them. Your brother, Harry Bailey, broke through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
Okay, isn't that great? So that was kind of the butterfly effect in reverse order. But you could see, George Bailey had this amazing blessing, and sometimes we're fortunate enough to know how our actions have affected people, but not always. I feel fortunate as a singer-songwriter. Sometimes I'll get an email from someone who'll say, your song, getting better every minute, really got me through my cancer journey. Or your song, Goodbye Old Friend, helped me through the loss of my pet. I got one email I'll never forget from a man who said, I set my pack of cigarettes on the breakfast table and I listened to Goodbye Old Friend while I smoked my last cigarette. Really helped me quit. It's a George Bailey moment. I love those George Bailey moments. And we never know, like I said, how many times that's happened. Rosa Parks, the only woman, only person. She was never elected to office, never served in the military, but she was laid in honor in the Capitol Rotunda when she died. A few years later, they made a statue of her, and there's a statue of her in the Rotunda statuary. It's a statue of her sitting down. I imagine it's on a bus seat. You can't tell from the picture. But all she did was refuse to give up her seat to a white man on a bus one day. And she started a movement that's still affecting hundreds of thousands of people even today. I wonder if she knew when she did that what kind of effect that action would have. Probably not. Andy Andrews wrote the little bathroom book called The Butterfly Effect. That's where I got that Norman Borlaug story. And he says in his book, this a quote really got me. There are generations yet unborn whose very lives will be shifted and shaped by the moves you make and the actions you take today and tomorrow and the next day and the next. Just read that again and take it in. Generations yet unborn whose lives will be altered and shaped by the moves you make and the actions you take today and tomorrow. So how do we live with this enormous responsibility? Wow. Something I call radical purpose. So if you're like me, you might find yourself categorizing things that you do during the day, maybe on your to-do list, by levels of importance. Maybe visiting a family member, a little higher priority, a little more important than a visit with a friend. Maybe a conversation with your therapist might be a little more important than a conversation you have with your butcher. We don't have a butcher. I just made that up. Round of golf is pretty important, but visiting a sick friend, that's really important. And you treat, I should be saying me, I treat everything a little bit differently depending on how high up they are on that importance list. But what if we started treating everything we did with equal purpose, with radical purpose? In other words, you put the same amount of energy and attention into a 1-minute conversation with a grocery store clerk than you would a speech you were going to give at a World Summit for World Peace. How would that change the conversation? How would that change the conversation you have? We never know. But I've got 4 ways in which we can make sure that those conversations are meaningful. You can live your life as if nothing I do matters. Or you can live your life as if everything I do matters. Okay, which one calls us to a higher level of living? Everything I do matters. Thank you for that answer. You get an A. Give that girl a gold star. Albert Einstein said this: everything you do will eventually affect the universe, so do it on purpose. It's perfect quote. He knew that everything we do, every action we take, will eventually affect the whole universe, so do it on purpose. Now, I was reminded, actually by Lisa at the earlier service, that the butterfly effect can be used for good and for evil. You know, when we think of the young man who did the mass shooting in El Paso, only 21 years old, and we wonder what was said to him, what action was taken, what did he see, what did he hear that started that chain of events that led to him thinking that this is something he had to do. So here are 4 suggestions for how we can lessen the likelihood of that happening, and making sure that all of the chains we start are positive ones. The first is to be present. Be present. So what this means is that whoever you're speaking to, whatever you're doing, do it consciously. So when you're fully present, you respond from that presence of the divine within you. You're not reacting from past memories and past experiences you've had. Okay? Number 2, pay attention. So notice how your words and actions are affecting those around you. I'll just leave it there. Be open to what's truly being said, and allow, pay attention to what's trying to be spoken through you in that moment. There's always something wanting to come through, always some wisdom waiting to be expressed through you. Pay attention to what's coming through you in the moment. Really? On outside? Okay, great. See how you were affected? You affected us. Must have known. He must have known. That's funny. Thank you. Number 3, set an intention. So this is something you can do once. Pray on it, meditate on it, and come up with kind of your own personal credo. Make every decision you make, do it with kindness, compassion, and love, and non-judgment. Or say, every person I talk to, I'm just going to see the Christ in them. Set an intention for your life and apply that everywhere you go and to everything you do each day. And number 4, stay on purpose. Remember that nothing you do is insignificant. Doesn't matter who you are, what life you live, whether you feel nothing you do matters or everything you do matters. Nothing you do matters. It used to be my mantra. I used to just think, gosh, I'm trying so hard. Everything I do just seems to like go out there and not do anything. It totally demotivated me. It took out all my desire to do something, thinking that nothing I do is going to make a difference anyway. But when I shifted my perspective to everything I do matters, wow, suddenly I had purpose. I had empowerment. I began to think about what I was doing. Everything I do matters. No matter who you are, no matter what position in life you're in, you can know that whatever conversation you have, whatever action you take, is going to go out into the universe right here and eventually have huge effects on the world around you. There's a man about 2,000 years ago that flapped his butterfly wings, and we're still feeling the effects of that today. Changed the world. And if you look around the room today, you'll see that there's no one here less equipped or qualified than Gandhi or King or Buddha or Jesus to change the course of history, to heal lives, to feed the hungry, house the homeless, or to mold young minds. Paula's on my visit to our now 2-year-old granddaughter Vivian reminded me that every little thing I do could be affecting her. I might have planted a seed in her that's a love for music. We danced together. She might remember that her whole life and become a dancer. I don't know. It's an amazing responsibility for parents and grandparents, constantly flapping their butterfly wings around young children, and for teachers. I see Catalina shaking her head, and school teachers too have that immense responsibility. So remember Moses, that old farmer from Diamond, Missouri, whose one courageous action started a chain of events that's now still saving over 5 billion lives from famine? Just see if you're paying attention. Remember Rosa Parks, whose one courageous action started a movement that's still affecting us today, still influencing lives. But most of all, remember that law of sensitive dependence upon initial conditions, the butterfly effect that's constantly working in your life every time you speak, every move you make, showing you how your life matters and how we all are connected like links in an unlimited number of chains. Most of all, live each day as if everything you did could alter history, because, my friends, it's very possible that it could. Very possible that it could. After all, it's the law. So I'm going to close with this fun video I found that kind of wraps it all up for us. It's called How a Butterfly Wrecked My Neighbor's Roof. It's probably that one. Great. Your voice matters, your action matters, your life matters. So let's move into our time of meditation now, please. Just take a deep breath, shift your weight a little bit, get comfortable in your seats. We'll begin that inward journey. A journey inward where we follow that ever-present guide that is always with us, our breath. That breath that connects us to the outside world. The Easterners call it prana, saying that the air is imbued with the very life force of God, the very life force of Spirit. So as we breathe in that air and feel it going through our nostrils, into our heart space, into our lungs, we know that we are being connected to one another. We breathe the same air. We walk the same earth. We're interdependent, connected. We share the same fate. We know that when one is free, when one is bound, none are free. We know that no one experiences heaven fully if anyone else is left behind. From this connectedness, we begin to feel compassion and love for the lives and well-being, not just for our brothers and sisters around us, but for all life, all beings everywhere. We know the great truth that what is good for them is good for all. And as we realize this oneness with one another, this is where we experience communion with God. True communion with God, when we experience oneness with one another. This is that field of unlimited possibilities Rumi talked about. When he said, out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. So out beyond the ideas of duality and separateness, there's a peaceful place where we are one. Let us meet there now and commune with one another for just a few moments in this silence. I am a link in an unlimited number of chains. I choose only words and actions from my highest awareness of my oneness with all beings everywhere. So begin to bring your attention back here into this room, into your heart center, breathing into your heart. I invite you all to repeat with me this closing blessing from the Buddhist tradition. I'm going to speak it and then have you repeat it after me. May all beings be happy. Together. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. Together. May all beings be free. May all beings live in peace. Together. May all beings live in peace. We are now of one mind and we're in agreement. We know that where two or more are gathered in agreement, it is made so. So we say together, and so it is. Together. And so it is. Amen. Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love. Thank you, Lily. That was awesome.
Thank you to Reverend Richard. Now is the time in our service for the sharing of our love offering in support of this ministry where we get to send out positive energy and vibes and have a ripple effect out into the world. I invite you to hold your gift in your hand, and do remember that if you'd like, you can give via your smartphone by simply texting the word give to 418-1228. That's 540-418-1228. And as you prepare your gift, I'd like to invite up our board treasurer, one of our board treasurers, Tony Porton, who has a few words to share with us about prosperity.
Hello, everyone. Maya, I'm counting on you. I couldn't have asked for like a better discussion today, a better topic, because it applies to what I want to share. I was told by Lisa to speak from my heart, and that'll get me in all kinds of trouble. So I'm going to kind of stay on track here. But this place has been my butterfly effect, and I'm grateful for my wife leading me here. So I've been asked to talk for prosperity in a minute, and I've already blown half of that. So let me get on track. In the class Prosperity Plus, we learned that the cornerstones of prosperity are health, relationships, vacation, and time and money freedom. To achieve these is to flourish and thrive and be at peace. I won't kid myself, nor any of you, into thinking that prosperity can be achieved as a result of a 1 minute, maybe 1.5 minute talk on the subject. What I will tell you is that if you truly want to make change in your own prosperity, it is only a mindset shift away. How many of you asked yourselves, if only? Well, each one of you is the only. For my wife, Lisa, and I, our awakening to our mindset shift was our participation in Financial Peace University. We learned that my wife should be the lead. I knew that was going to make a lot of you happy. And it's true. in achieving our financial goals. Though my ego said otherwise, Lisa's leadership in getting rid of debt improved our ability to financially support our family and expand what our combined spirits believe we should give to this church. I'm closing on my second year as one of your two trustee treasurers. I'm elated to tell you that we are experiencing a financial resurgence in what began and continues to make Unity Renaissance prosper. The success of our capital campaigns, combined with being operationally in the black midway through 2019, sings of prosperity. We are doing okay today. Okay to me is a term for today. Our facility expansion is for our tomorrows, more specifically the tomorrows of our children. While we presently find ourselves in a position to pay the monthly bills, Unity Renaissance is not financially positioned to build upon reserves. My personal preference would be that we not tell our children we are expanding our facilities for them and then leave it to them to pay for later. I encourage you to seek ways to expand on your own family's prosperity, to change your mindset, and find your personal prosperity that allows for increased giving to our Unity home. You will find doing so makes it possible for you to expand on your Unity family's prosperity. Lisa and I will tell you there is no greater gift than giving. Thank you.
So awesome. You know, it's not easy to get up here when there's so much love in the room and keep your voice from quavering. I can totally relate. Thank you. So I invite you to hold your gift in your hand. If you're giving via your phone, just hold your phone in your hand. And when that offering basket comes around, you can just wave it over the top and add your blessing. So please join me now in our offertory blessing. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
What you wanted, you wouldn't hesitate. Whether it's choosing your job or choosing your mate, if you don't put some time, love, and energy into yourself, you'll end up leaving your decisions to somebody else. I wanna know now, whose life do you think it is? Anyway, you know that life is a gift to you, so why would you give it away? Settle for that fast food restaurant, go for that sumptuous buffet. Oh yeah. Whoa, whose life do you think it is anyway? You are the master of your future, it's not all up to fate. We just keep moving forward and we learn from our mistakes. And even if it takes a little time to find your own way, well, you can do it till you get it right, like Bill Murray on Groundhog Day. I wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? You know that life is a gift to you, so why would you give it away? You can settle for that fast food restaurant, go for that sumptuous buffet. Whoa, whose life do you think it is anyway? faith brings us closer to the real you and me. Wanna know now, whose life do you think it is anyway? You know that life is a gift to you, so why would you give it away? You can settle for that fast food restaurant or go for that sumptuous buffet. Oh, whose life do you think it is anyway? Whose life do you think it is anyway? Whose life do you think it is anyway?
Brother Boyd, who's that?
All right. Come on down. I'm sure tall and short, small, young. Hello, everybody. Let's take a moment to turn to gratitude within, feeling the overflowing blessings of this day. Remembering that we make a difference. And so we give thanks for these generous gifts. We give thanks for the gifts. We give thanks for the givers, knowing that each of these gifts creates a ripple out there in the world. And so now we send these forth as we transform lives that transform the world. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Great job, you guys. Great job. This is the time in our service when we welcome those of you who are new to Unity Renaissance. If you're here today for the first, second, or third time, we invite you to raise your hand nice and high, holding up the appropriate number of fingers, 1, 2, or 3 for your first, second, or there we go. We got some first-timers in the back. Welcome to you. I think they just moved here, right? You guys just moved here recently? Well, welcome. To Hampton Roads area. Great to have you with us.
We got a 3 over here.
We have a second timer over here. Sweet. So if you're here for the first time today, in that bag there, you'll find a little card. Fill the card out, take it into the bookstore, and you get a free CD, a copy of a previous service. For your second visit, you get 2 CDs. One is a positive, uplifting music from Empower Music and Arts. The other is Sacred Unity Recordings. And when you come back for the third time, you get a copy of our daily devotional, The Daily Word. So thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again and again.
All right, so we have a repeat performance. 2 people are coming back, Renee and Barry Adcock, with their Crystal Light Healing Bed. And they will be starting off with a workshop on August 23rd, so you can come and learn a little bit more about the benefits of the healing bed. And I heard it was really popular the last time they were here. So they have 3 days, August 24th, 25th, and 26th, where they will be available to come sign up. It's here at the church, correct?
All right, we put it back in the YOU room.
Okay, so you can sign up for your time on the healing bed, and you can sign up for that on their website, which is spiritenlighten.com.
Well, as Tony Porton was mentioning today, we offer some great classes here to help amp up your prosperity consciousness. We have a brand new one starting on September the 4th. Richard's going to facilitate that class, Prosperity Plus 3, brand new. It's actually lessons offered by Reverend Mary Morrissey. How many of you are familiar with her? She's a real powerhouse. This is her new course, so it'll be available. We have the lessons on DVD, but also class discussion. Led by Richard, and here's a little bit more information about it.
Hi, I'm Mary Morrissey, author of 2 best-selling books, No Less Than Greatness and Building Your Field of Dreams, which became a PBS special. I'm also the creator of the Prosperity Plus programs. I created Prosperity Plus so that we could gather together and do an experiment, and a 7-week experiment in living a life that's harmonious with the invisible laws that govern the visible results we call our own. These are ancient laws. They're invisible to our 5 senses, and yet they govern all the results that we call our own. Prosperity Plus 3 is where you're going to engage in this experiment with these ancient laws through a simple, easy-to-practice way of being. Over the course of 7 weeks, you'll engage with other members of your community. You'll have a weekly class. There'll be a facilitator or one of your ministers who will lead you through it. It's actually a very fun experiment in living. And so this is your invitation to actually do an experiment, to actually have these next 7 weeks after the class begins become one of the most transformative eras of your life, and it'll be with you forever. Prosperity Plus 3 is created for the person who really wants to go deeper spiritually and then have a life that has greater, freer, fuller expression by means of the relationship with the infinite side of your nature. And I invite you to give yourself this gift and say yes to your community who is offering Prosperity Plus 3, an experiment in greater living.
She really does a masterful job of weaving in spiritual principles so that you feel like you're growing in consciousness at the same time as you're getting greater results in your own life. So I invite you to consider taking advantage of it. There's a $55 fee for the materials. You get a wonderful kit with all the lessons in it, a great workbook, etc. And you can sign up today in the narthex after the service, or you can go on our website at unirenaissance.org and sign up there.
And our youth, the YOUers, Youth of Unity, are going to have a fundraiser this coming Friday night from 7 to 9:30. It is a dance, dessert, and talent show. Yes, so they'll be displaying their talents, but they also invite you to come out and sign up and display some of your talent. Remember, it doesn't have to be Broadway. It can just be your way. So, yeah, I just made that up. So come on out. You can sign up if you want to be the talent, or you could just be in the audience. And there's a sign-up sheet on the hall wall for that, and we invite you out. And again, bring your money, and so we can help the YOUers go to their fall rally.
You may have noticed as you came in today, a lot of activity out there in our parking lot. Today is our annual summer picnic, so they've done a beautiful job of setting up out there. We're going to have some wonderful refreshments for you. I believe the YOU is selling hot dogs if you forgot to bring your lunch. We also have watermelon served by the music team. And so it's going to be a really fun time of fellowship and hanging out. Lots of good games and activities for adults and kids as well. So please stick around and join us for that. Next Sunday is Hawaiian Sunday, so you're invited to wear your favorite Hawaiian garb. And the Unity Sisterhood will be serving Hawaiian fruit pops to kind of keep things going with our summer theme here. And with that, I'd like to invite Nick Hill to come up. Where are you, Nick? There he is.
Good afternoon, Unity Renaissance. I am here to invite you to join the Unity Renaissance Singers, the choir here, in our music workshop. Our music workshop will be in 2 weeks. That's August 24th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I just have a few notes here because I'll forget. It's a place where you can learn and have fun. We'll be going over music note reading, and it's also for you to find your voice musically. So if you're interested in any way, shape, or form of joining the choir, getting a little better with some music, I invite you to come and join us. We're going to have a great, great time, okay? Again, that is Saturday, August 24th from 9 to noon. And I like to say it is hosted for and by the Unity Renaissance Singers. So please come join us and have a great time.
Nick's our new, as you know, Nick's our new choir director, and he's going to start up with choir rehearsals, Unity Renaissance Singers rehearsals on Thursday nights. It'll be Thursday nights now, starting on August the 29th at 7 p.m. So we're really excited about that. Also want to mention next Sunday, you will have an opportunity after both services to just take a minute. Doesn't take very long to just jot a note of encouragement and support to someone who is incarcerated. Speaking of the butterfly effect, how some small effort on your part can make an immense difference. I'm looking at Lynn Klein out there who oversees our beautiful prison ministry here. You have no idea the difference that even just a few sentences of affirmation and encouragement for somebody, how it can shift not only them, but the energy around them and can ripple to other people. So please take advantage of that next Sunday. There'll be notes provided for you out there at the welcome desk. Send a little note off and with a prayer and know that it's making a difference. Finally, today is the last day for contributing school supplies for our school supply drive. We are really been abundantly blessed. I want to thank all of you who've made contributions. I really think it's our best year yet for a school supply drive. So we're very excited to have so much to send over to Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. These are children who, without our help, many of them would not have the supplies that they need. So thank you, and you can still get some supplies in today if you haven't had a chance to contribute. Well, that's it for our announcements today. I want to say thank you again to Reverend Richard for the great talk. And thank you to all of you for joining us online. We'll be back next Sunday. And take care and have a wonderful week. And with that, let's welcome in our children. May be seated. I'm going to guess the older ones are outside getting ready for the picnic. Very cool. Hey, today, since Richard was giving the talk, I got to hang out with the kids for a while. What a wonderful experience that was. Man, you parents out there, you have a lot to be proud of. These kids are amazing. So who would like to share what you did or learned today? Okay. Here they come. All right. It's all right. It's all is forgiven. Okay, come on in. And there's more. All right. Who would like to share? Anybody? Yes. Come on up, Brayden.
So we learned about creativity, and we drew. We made these things of what our new room is going to be like.
Yeah. So they were making floor plans for the new classrooms and the expansion. Beautiful, using the power of imagination. Come on up, Gavin.
Today's affirmation is that I use my power of imagination every day to create my world.
That's awesome. Well done. Anybody else? You want to say something over here? Need a little conference time? Let me know. Anybody here? Yeah, coming up.
All right, so well, number one, we kind of talked about like individuality and like how we are all like our own person, and we also talked about like how we're all unique, and we were like talking about how we all appreciate each other, and then also we have like a little kind of like part of a song to perform. So. Yes, this is a little sneak peek for the talent night. Which is Friday the 16th. So if you want to see the full version.
7 to 9.
7 to 9, yeah. Thank you. Okay, are you guys ready? Please give me the rock. Please give me the rock. Please give me the rock. All right, that's it. You can see the rest on Friday.
Wow, well, that just begs for context, doesn't it? So you gotta come Friday to get the full picture. Thanks, you guys. Did you guys have anything? Are we good? You were all set? Did you have something you wanted to say, sweetie?
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, man. She's owning that too. All right. I believe that's it. Let's stand together now and join hands for our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.